Hello, UJTV viewers. This is another episode of In Conversation. My name is Bongani Mncube, and today I'm going to be speaking to Rowan Haai. Trust me, the keywords, I was talking to him, the keywords are heart, tenacity, and vigor. Rowan, I still ask, do you have those three?
I don't know. Let's save the conversation and then you'll find out.
Indeed. Well, for those that may not know you, can you briefly introduce who Rowan Haai is?
So obviously, thank you so much for having me. It is quite a privilege and an honor to be here. I really hold UJ very close to my heart.
Yeah.
This is an institution that, allowed me to do my BCom accounting, my BCom honors, and I still look forward to pursuing my master's and finally my PhD at UJ also. So who am I? Just a young boy, born and bred in Pretoria. At the age of 17, moved to Johannesburg to start my tertiary education career here, basically. And I was fortunate enough to, pursue my BCom accounting here, my BCom honors in internal auditing.
Yes.
And then thereafter got an amazing opportunity to, start practicing as an internal audit trainee at one of the big four accounting firms, PricewaterhouseCoopers. And I am, in the process of pursuing my certified internal auditor designation.
Wow.
It's not easy,
Yeah.
and we'll also delve a bit deeper into that. But yeah, that's just me in a nutshell.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that you forgot out of that is that you're also a young internal auditor of the year. That's a big one.
Yeah, so that was obviously one of the highlights of my career thus far. So every year, the Institute of Internal Auditors aim to acknowledge and, just shine a little bit of light onto those who actually, contribute to the industry to the industry and the profession at large. And 8 months into my career, at the age of 22, now, just to give you a bit of background, this award, and there's also multiple awards that are that are received by recipients at the annual conference. So this award, Young Internal Auditor of the Year, take into account everyone up until the age of 35.
Wow.
So if you think roughly someone who's 35 has about 10 minus plus years experience in the industry. And at that point, I was 22, I'm now 23. Okay. I was only 8 months into my career.
Wow.
And I went up against these people that are 35 years old. And, through a lot of hard work, determination, I was the recipient of the award. So, that really meant quite a lot for me. Not only for myself, but for my family, for any student out there, that they've faced adversity on so many levels.
Exactly.
But also for the UJ alumni to show that, mind you, I was a recipient of the award in 2023. The person who received the award in 2022 is a UJ alumni gift, Somakwabe, and the person who received the award in 2022 is also a UJ alumni. Her name is Impiwe. So, it just shows...
There's greatness
exactly,
around UJ,
it shows you that UJ is definitely the place to be. I really think that we do have a very good internal audit qualification at UJ. And also the nice thing that we are also now doing is, in preparation, because there's a difference between someone studying and what is actually being done in practice.
Yes.
And to sort of bridge that gap, what we've also now started, or not started, is something called Project Excellence.
Okay.
We haven't started it this year. When I was doing my honors at UJ, this was also a project that I did. So it's basically a simulation audit project where, the audit life cycle from planning, execution to reporting, it sort of takes you through a practical audit example of what you can expect whenever you do work in corporate. And this is, an initiative that's also run by PwC. And I won the project in 2022, and now I'm fortunate to be part of the team that actually sets the project. So we are also doing that at UJ. So it's quite good actually.
That's good collaboration and practice and theory, the merging of that.
Exactly, and I think it's really important for the people, or the students rather, to actually have that exposure to what they can potentially expect when they do go into corporate, so that the transition is not as difficult, the having to unlearn, relearn, process
Yeah,
is not
processing.
is not that difficult,
True,
actually.
true. And I want to take you a little bit back now.
Yeah.
The young Rowan in high school, did you always, I don't take you, but you're still young, man, I think.
Yes.
So it's not that far back. But in terms of how's your upbringing, yeah, and school-wise, I know you have a change of subjects, sometime, life sciences and mathematical literacy. Take me through that.
So I'm going to say something that's actually very controversial right now.
Okay.
So initially I had selected, in grade 9 when you select your subjects to go to grade 10,
Yeah.
I initially selected, as part of my subject group, I selected life science and mathematical literacy because at that point I was still dead set on becoming an actor.
Oh.
I really loved acting and
Yeah.
I wanted to pursue that. And then two things popped into my mind.
All right.
Number one, you do not need a degree in like a Bachelor of Arts to actually make it in the industry, because some of our veteran actors in South Africa or even in the world,
Yeah.
they don't have acting qualifications, but they're doing well in that space.
Yeah.
But obviously, someone who actually has a qualification, has a bit, has something different
advantage,
that they're
yeah.
bringing.
Yeah.
And then I realized, you know what, I actually do not need a degree to pursue acting.
Yeah.
And the other thing that also popped into my mind was that 90% of my friends at that point chose accounting and mathematics, pure maths.
Like that peer
And
pressure
then,
type of
yes,
vibe.
so
Yeah.
then I sort of felt peer pressure. And the thing is, people always perceive peer pressure as a bad thing.
Yeah, true,
But
true.
when you surround yourself with the right people that inspire you, people that people that you sort of look up to,
Indeed.
then peer pressure in that sense is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what, since I am going to be still together with my friends, they're going to be doing accounting and maths, if I struggle, I can always just depend on them.
Yeah.
And that's how I ended up changing my subjects from
Life science.
mathematical literacy and life science to maths and accounting.
Accounting.
And I think that was
That is the turning
probably,
point, yeah.
yes, that was the turnaround. And that decision that I took then
Yeah.
is sort of as a result of where I am today. Because had I not taken accounting, I wouldn't have understood my passion for accounting at that point and then pursue BCom accounting in university. And then if I didn't do BCom accounting and I did BEc maybe instead, then I wouldn't have discovered my passion for, internal audit related subsections like governance and risk management and controls, because that is something that I'm actually really passionate about.
Yeah.
So I could have studied to become a chartered accountant,
Yeah.
but there the peer pressure was that no, I actually do not want to pursue that because it was not authentic to me.
Yeah.
Could I have done it? Absolutely. But I wanted to pursue something that was more authentic to me, something that I can add more value to.
Yeah.
Because chartered accountants, and I'm speaking under correction because I'm not a chartered accountant by
Yeah,
profession,
okay.
they look at the financial statements and gives an opinion about how the financial statements were presented.
Okay.
However, as an internal auditor, you add more value to your clients that you service, because you look at their governance processes,
Yes.
their risk management, and their controls, and you basically evaluate and assess whether those controls in that environment, do they operate as effectively, as efficiently, and as economically as possible? And through your assessment, if you find that there is a defect here or there, this control is inadequate or maybe ineffective, then you make those recommendations for improvement. And that is how you actually add value to the clients that you service. So that's how I felt, in that space, I was able to add more value. And to be quite honest with you, I've never looked back. I've never looked back. I actually feel like this is the profession that I was meant to be in. Yes, things might change. We are still young. I'm young. I don't know about you.
I'm old. I'm very old.
So, there's still multiple opportunities that may be presented,
Yeah.
and I'm open to, whatever opportunities I get presented to. However, whatever decisions I make is always authentic to me.
Indeed.
And yeah.
Indeed, because as I like how you brought it. Okay, cool. I'm gonna touch on acting as well, because
Yeah.
you might still act. I don't trust. I think when we have a show, we might call you to be like, we need a main character.
Yeah.
We have that for you. But also, I want to understand. Of course, we're gonna get to the difference between, as you've just stated, chartered accountants and internal audit. But now, for a person who just came out of high school, of course, you've taken your accounting and you've taken, the subjects that you have taken, mathematics. Then first year, what was your decision? Were you also as informed as kind of like you are right now, or it was also just a calling that I want to become accounting? The rest we'll see whether I want to become this or
So
that.
the crazy thing is, as I said, I just knew that, you know, becoming a chartered accountant wasn't something that I really wanted to pursue.
Yeah.
And with BCom accounting exposes you to, you know, auditing, financial management and cost management.
Yeah.
So it's accounting, financial management and cost management, your governance, and then your tax.
Yeah.
So then you sort of have a more holistic view
Indeed.
of things in a profession that you can practice as.
Yes.
And, you know, through my journey, I also want people to realize that you don't need to be a CASA to be successful. You can still be an internal auditor if you want to be. You can still be a tax practitioner. You can be a CGMA. You can be a professional accountant if you want to be. The one thing that's really going to set you apart from your peers or your competitors in that space is your passion for what you do. Because if you are really passionate about what you do, then you are always going to go the extra mile. And there's always going to be someone that actually notices that and will give you the opportunities that you actually do deserve.
Indeed. Well, I sense the heart there. Yeah?
Yes.
From the words, the heart is there. That's the passion talking right now. Indeed. So, well, because your track record is quite amazing. Undergrad, you got 17 distinctions. How did you do that? Is there support
My
structure?
goodness. So the one thing my parents told me, and you know, my parents they didn't have the opportunity to, you know, pursue any qualifications after they finished school or whatever, but my parents are actually very wise people.
Yeah.
And the one thing my parents told me was that nice time will always be there. Nice time will always be there. Partying, events, and going to those things will always be there. I had to make use of the opportunity that I've been granted at that point and make the best out of it. Because if you come from a space or an environment where you did not have much, such things, you know, you having the opportunity to go to university, that is a big deal.
Indeed.
And I wanted to make sure that I go there, I register to, you know, get my qualification, and then my main objective was to get out of the qualification with the best possible marks. And there was this one friend of mine who always told me, you know, when I would be studying and they would invite me to their apartment and say, you know, come and chill with us, hang out with us. And then I would be like, no, I'm busy studying. And then this one day she told me that, you know what, whether you pass with an 80%, whether I pass with a 50%, we are still going to walk the same stage together. And that's absolutely true.
Indeed.
However, where am I today and where is she today? Do you understand? Not to sound cocky by any way, but that's the absolute truth. When I applied for my job at PwC, and I will never forget the senior manager, well, actually the both people that interviewed me are senior managers. And I would never forget when that lady looked at my academic record and she said, you know what, I don't even need to ask you if you are a hard worker, because your academic record speaks for itself.
Exactly.
And that is something that I'm absolutely proud of. I graduated my honors in internal auditing at the age of 21, and on my academic record, I had 21 distinctions in total. So, yeah, that's something that I really worked hard for. But to students, I would also encourage them and tell them, you know, nice, as my parents told me, nice time will always be there. However, make use of that opportunity that you have been granted so that you can get the economic freedom that you ultimately want.
Indeed.
You know, and we'll also, you know, be talking a bit about it later. But, you know, during those times when days are dark, your friends are few, and you, as a student, there's a lot of difficult situations that you face. The situations I faced as a student is no different from any other student. You know, anxiety, stress, depression, you know, financial difficulties. Those are all things I faced during my days of, you know, being a student. It's not different from any other student. But the one thing that you have to remind yourself of is your why. You must have a why of why are you in university. And my why will be different from your why.
Indeed.
My why was definitely that I wanted the economic freedom for my family or for myself so that I'm able to provide a better life for my family. And, you know, when it comes to my career and, you know, my qualifications that I pursued, people will ask you, but what do you define as success? For me, what I would define as success when it comes to this is that now I'm able to provide the life for my parents that they've always wanted to provide for us. And in those days when you get your marks and you are disappointed by the outcome of it, you need to remind yourself of your why and not give up.
Indeed, and your parents really play a pivotal role in your life.
Definitely,
You've actually cited your dad that he instilled ethic in you. Tell me about that. How did that come out? How did it go about?
So also my dad, someone that I absolutely look up to, inspires me every day. So my dad, for the greater part of, whenever I can remember, from primary, high school, and even a part of varsity, my dad was always a security. He worked as a security. And that is still to this day, I hold security is very dear to my heart because those people do not get remunerated a lot. However, the work that they do is actually very crucial.
Indeed.
It's actually dangerous to some extent. And the one thing my dad has always done was, do his work with so much passion. I would always look at my dad, when he used to get ready for work, my dad would always make sure that he looked neat to the T. There was a specific way that he used to clean his shoes. He would bone it. So it's a method of, using polish and oil and using a cloth, and then he would do it in the circular motion. And he's the only one that can do it. I unfortunately cannot do it. His white shirts always had to be ironed properly. His pants, my dad is very pedantic on how the pants needs to be ironed. He was in the army, so I think that still plays a role there. This line here, it must only be one line. If my mom was lazy this one day and he sees two lines there, he would tell her that she needs to redo it because it needs to look proper. But he does his work with so much. He did his work with so much passion, and he motivated me, and by showing me that even if the work that you are doing is not the most glamorous job that you do, just do it to the best of your ability. Whatever you do, whatever task someone gives you, do that to the best of your ability. And when you look back at the work that you've produced, you must be proud of it. And even in that way, and that's how I also go through life. Whatever I do it to the best of my ability. Even if I fail, and people might think I'm perfect. No, that's not the case. There are many situations where I've also failed at what I needed to do, and I'll give you an example now. But at least if you've done something to the best of your ability and you have failed at it, you at least know that you can comfort yourself and say, you know what, I did my best, and my best is simply enough. As I told you, I am in the process of pursuing my certified internal auditor designation. And as part of that, you need to write 3 board exams, right? And I, attempted my first one and I was unsuccessful. I failed my first attempt by 1%. By 1%. I was so devastated by that because I said, you know what? If I fail, at least let me fail properly. Let me fail with 5% at least. Then I would know that there's sort of a content gap and that I need to go back and revisit it, revisit the content and maybe understand it in a different way. But I failed with 1%, and that was simply because of time management. But because I adequately prepared to the best of my ability, I was not hard on myself. Yes, you go through the stages of mourning, that loss, I would say. But I always knew that, I did my best and my best is simply enough. And that is where you look at perspective. You look at the glass that's filled, half filled with water, and you look at it where it's, you must decide from which lens are you looking at it. Is it half full or half empty? I could have been despondent and, I said, I'm not doing this again. I'm done with this or whatever. But I went back to the drawing board and I'm now again in the process of, getting back into the groove of things, and you're attempting it again because failure is not a bad thing unless you do not do something about it. Failure for me stands for first attempt in learning. That was my first attempt in learning. I failed at it. However, I needed to dust myself off, hold my head up high, and continue. Because the mandate at the end of the day is so that I need to get my CIA so that I can be a certified internal auditor.
Now that's tenacity.
Definitely.
I'm marking, trust me. I'm marking, left with one word to go. Yeah, but with those hardships that you just mentioned and also as a student that you undergone, I also understand that during COVID, parents had to leave
Yeah.
Pretoria and go to Northern Cape.
Yeah.
How did that affect you, and how did you at least try to have the right mindset, as you said, the perspective to see things differently and improve lives, because you later on went to do greater things for them as well?
Yeah, so I think that was, and again, as I told you, the situations I faced as a student is no different from what other students are facing. And that is where financial difficulty also played a role. Now, just going back to acting,
Yeah.
right? So I actually did a subject called dramatic arts in school from grade 10 to 12.
Alright.
And there was this play we did called Waiting for Godot. And what this play is basically based around the concept called existentialism. And what existentialism basically means is that us as humans, we are born in a void. Or to put it in layman's terms, we are born in mud. And you as the person have to make the conscious decision. Are you going to step out of the mud and make something of your life? Or are you just going to stay in the mud and not develop? And these characters in the play didn't develop. You know, it's the analogy of the rope being tied on the elephant, and they were tied to a small tree, and they never broke loose from that. You know, just, because they thought that, you know what, I cannot break loose from that.
True.
And that is the analogy, you know, that this place is also based around. But when COVID hit and my parents lost their jobs, I had to then make that conscious decision. Am I just going to stay in the situation and feel sorry for myself and lick my wounds? Or am I going to step out of the mud and step out of the void and actually make something of my life? And at that point, I realized that I needed to do something. I started emailing lecturers and asking them, you know, if there aren't any tutor vacancies available. And, you know, they told me, you know, it's already in the middle of the year. You'd have to apply next year or, you know, for the second semester. And I never gave up. You know, I always continued asking and following up until I got the opportunity to start working as a tutor. And, you know, I've always had a passion for education as well. So that was also a part of my dream that I fulfilled, you know, being a tutor. And, you know, through a lot of hard work and, you know, a lot of determination and also a lot of sacrifices, I was able to save up the money. And at the age of 20, I was able to buy my parents the house that they never had. The house that they, you know, so badly wanted to buy for us, but because of circumstances couldn't. And, you know, the house is in my name, but it was actually a gift to my parents. So it's actually their house. So they have the responsibility of, you know, managing the house and all of that. But yeah, that was through a lot of hard work. And I think if you put your mind to it, then you can definitely make it happen and you can get it done.
Wow. Firstly, it's a big congratulations. Trust me.
Thank you so much.
Getting a house at the age of 20. Wow. For your family. It really hits home.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting. And now, fast forward, you do your BCom honors, you come out 4 distinctions, as you said, total is 21 in your academic journey. Right now you're at PwC. How's life for you right now?
You know, the learning curve at PwC is extremely steep. You know, you get put in a lot of situations where you sort of have to take a step back, make use of the resources, and to the best of your ability, execute their task. However, there's a lot of resources that's at your disposal, people to assist you. I have absolutely great mentors, you know, my career coach, Anne, the partner also at PwC that's also a mentor to me, Lusanda. She also sits on the board as a deputy chair at the Institute of Internal Auditors, also doing great in her career. You know, there's some people that I always look up to. And I think this is also where I realized the importance of having mentors. And mentors are different aspects of your life. You know, I have mentors in my career. I also have actually you know, a mentor, or I would say, you know, someone that, you know, helps me in my personal life and, you know, always advises me. And she was actually my lecturer at UJ, who lectured governance and ethical foundations to commerce, Pranisha. And now she's, you know, sort of my mentor, you know, because she was also practicing as an internal auditor at some stage, then went into academia. So she sort of understands, you know, the things that I go through, and she's able to assist me in that way. But opportunities at PwC, absolutely great. You know, there's a reason why they are the leaders. in the Big Four or, you know, from the Big Four accounting firms. And yeah, there are multiple opportunities there. And I think if you, again, put your mind to it, you make it known to people what are your goals and what it is that you want to achieve, then you can make that happen. You know, also with the CIA that I'm pursuing, I am getting assistance from them because they also pay for your CIA, they pay for your textbooks, they pay for your exams, they provide you with mentors or tutors who've gone through the process and they give you advice. So yeah, it is definitely the place to be.
Indeed, and and it's really big.
Yeah.
And now that you're here, what's your proudest moment? You know, looking back.
Yes. So I have been so fortunate to have gotten, you know, a lot of opportunities in life.
Yeah.
You know, things that I've actually worked for. You know, in high school I was, so my second name is actually Cyril. And people always call me,
Cyril.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So the same way that you just said Ramaphosa, at some stage I was actually a president in my life because I was elected to serve on a representative council of learners executive committee as the president from grade 11 to 12. And then, you know, obviously become accounting, passed it with 17 distinctions, become honors in internal auditing. I won Project X with my team. I also received the award for the top academic achiever. And, you know, obviously one of the proudest moments is being the recipient of the Young Internal Auditor of the Year award from the Institute of Internal Auditors. And, you know, that's probably, you know, just a summary of my very proudest moments, but also being here, you know, being on UJTV. I had an interview last week at UJFM. You know, there are multiple articles that have been written about me. There's a podcast on the Institute of Internal Auditors YouTube page. So please go and check it out. There's also a podcast there that I did there, you know, just to give you a bit more insight about my life and my journey. So yeah, those are really proud moments. But, you know, at the end of the day, these are things that define what I am. And I'm not defined by what I am. I'm defined by who I am. You know, because if you take all of these accolades and achievements and awards away, then who am I? At the end of the day, I'm Rowan. I'm someone who is authentic. I make decisions that are authentic to me. I have a vision. Those decisions, those authentic decisions that I make is aligned with my vision. And if there's one thing, you can strip me of the awards and the accolades and all of that, but if there's one thing you can never strip me of, it's my work ethic. Whatever I put my mind to, whatever task I'm given, I will do it to the best of my ability and I will execute.
And that's vigor. You ticked all three. You ticked all three. And right now, where to from here? I want to understand the vision now. Of course, you're still young, as you said. Career aspirations and personal goals, what are you looking to
so
achieve?
Career-wise, definitely, as I said, CIA is now top of mind. I also do want to pursue my master's in computer auditing at the great University of Johannesburg. Because for me, it's not going to end until my title changes from Mr. to Doctor. It is going to end in, you know, that red gown. That is something that, you know, still is something that I really want to achieve. And then, you know, career-wise, obviously becoming a certified internal auditor, and, you know, whatever opportunities I am presented, whether it be here, whether it be abroad,
you're open.
I'm open to, you know, receiving those opportunities and, you know, just, you know, contributing to the profession that I really love so dearly. And, you know, whatever opportunities I also get at the Institute of Internal Auditors also, and, you know, that sort of aligns with my vision and my work ethic and my authenticity. And, you know, personal goals,
It's like going to Athens, to go to Greece.
Personal goals, I really love traveling. And this is also why I think I chose to go to PwC, because I really have received really great opportunities. I've been, you know, to places that I wouldn't have gone to had it not been for them. You know, Port Elizabeth is London. I was in Cape Town. I'm going to Swaziland now in June and July. So that's something that I really look forward to.
Your passport is ready,
Yes, my passport is ready. It's been gathering dust there. I made sure that I'm adequately prepared for that. And yeah, personally, you know, still I love traveling and, you know, spending time with family and, you know, friends. My friend is actually getting married in 2 days, and I'm actually the man of honor part of the bridal party there. So that's something that I really love. And, seeing my friends do great in, different aspects of their life. Unfortunately for me, I cannot even get through a successful talking stage. But you know what? It is what it is. And the right person will come my way. And, I am a Christian and I do believe that God's timing is perfect.
Indeed.
When the time is right, He will make it happen. So I'm just, whenever He sends the right person my way, then
you waited to receive.
Exactly.
Like, thank you,
Lord, I would be
finally.
a happy recipient. So that's just in a nutshell.
That's really amazing. You're on the right track, trust me. And we usually have a tiny thing called Monday Motivation, because our show airs on Mondays. So, of course, whoever's been listening to us kind of got a lot of motivation from you, because you inspired a lot in me. So, but directly speaking to that camera of yours, I would like you to kind of give a motivation, Monday motivation to anyone listening to us right now.
So, as I said in the interview, if you've been listening, the one thing that you as a student, even if you are facing those adversities, whether it be stress, anxiety, financial difficulties, the one thing that you should never forget is your why. Because your why is something that's going to keep you motivated and it's going to keep you moving. Those days when you feel like you cannot get up, you cannot get yourself out of bed to do whatever it is that you need to do, remind yourself of that. But also something that I've mentioned that I love by proper preparation prevents poor performance. Whatever it is that you do, whether it is an assignment, whether it is an interview, whether it is preparing for your exams, now we are entering exam season. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Do it to the best of your ability. And one thing that you should never forget, be authentic, have a good work ethic, and have a vision.
Trust me. I'm motivated. I don't know about you. Trust me. Oh, Rowan, thank you so much.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me. It has honestly been such a good conversation. I don't see it as an interview, but just an opportunity for us to get to know each other.
Indeed.
And also, for the viewers to take something from my journey, to take a page out of my book. And I look forward to, whatever is in store. And
trust me, there's a lot
onwards
to take.
and upwards from here.
Yeah,
Definitely.
indeed. Well, dear viewers, you heard it. You heard it. Gave you the lens into the life of Rowan, and it's quite inspirational, trust me, if you are listening, because I got to be inspired. As he said, that fail is first attempt in learning.
Definitely.
Trust me. So never really let loose. Try to strive as hard as you can, because you can make it.
Absolutely.
My name is Bongani. Thank you for tuning into this episode. See you in the next one.